and study it in more and more detail. Can you see the figure on the left hand side? G, can you see the figure on the left hand side? Okay, so this is one macrocell of CFB. This is one macrocell of the Xilinx Max architecture. This is one macrocell of the Xilinx Max architecture. And we studied that actually there were 6 CFBs. Each CFB consists of 6 macrocells. So actually there were 18 multiplied by 6 macrocells in the Xilinx XE95108 device. Now we are studying this one Max architecture in more and more detail. If you look at the left hand side, on the left hand side from here, actually there are 5 product terms. How many product terms? 5 product terms. Okay, 4 product terms are above and 1 product term is below. Okay, so in this way you have 4 product terms that comes from the inputs. How many inputs are there? There are 36 inputs. So the input was like I1, I2 up to I36. 4 product terms can come directly from the inputs to the macrocells, and 1 product term, 1 input is from the within the macrocell. So this one macrocell, if you look at green color, so this is the feedback term. Can you see? This green is the feedback term. Okay, this feedback term is from the same macrocell. It is from the same macrocell. Now, if you look at the above, AND gates, these AND gates, can you see these AND gates? These are called as parallel logic expanders. Parallel logic expanders. So they come from another macrocell. So let's assume this macrocell is macrocell I. This macrocell I. This feedback term is from macrocell I. And the parallel expanders are from the other macrocells and from the other macrocells within the same CFB. These are from the other macrocells. We call them as parallel logic expander. So in function, it can implement any combination of sequential function of more than 5 minterms. If you want to implement wider function, so multiple macro cells can be combined together to implement a wider function. And if you want to implement a smaller combination of sequential function, only 1 macro cell can be used. Okay, now these are the product term select logic. These are so these AND gates is programmable AND gates or fixed AND gate? Programmable AND gate. So these are the programmable AND gates. So the OR gate, if you look at the OR gate, you see the OR gate here. This OR gate. So this OR gate is fixed, and this fixed OR gate actually the inputs are from the product term select, and it depends on the switches. Actually, the switches will be there. Either the switches will be retained or blown, depending on the logic function that needs to be implemented. Okay. Now, if you look at here, now there is an exclusive OR gate here. If you see here, there is an exclusive OR gate. What is the objective of this exclusive OR gate? What is the objective of this exclusive OR gate here? Can you see the exclusive OR gate here? Now let's assume any function is implemented. Let's assume this function that it is implemented. So now can we write it like this? Now we have an OR gate. Output of the OR gate is, let's assume this is F1. And after this F1, there is an exclusive OR gate. There is an exclusive OR gate. And here, this input From where this input is coming? From the product term select logic. Let's assume this input is J. Actually, the output F2, is a function of what? Output F2 is a function of J and F1. If this output F2 is a function of J, so naturally, let's assume this output is your F. It depends on whether you want a non-inverted output or an inverted output. It depends on the signal J. It depends on the signal J. So now let's assume if J is 0, and J is 0, what will be the value of F2? No. When J is 0, what will be the J is 0? There are two possibilities. Ignore F1. When J is 0, what will be the output F2? F1. So when J is 0, F2 will be equal to F1. It means this output is inverted or non-inverted? Non-inverted. So this is actually non-inverted. Function is inverted or non-inverted? Non-inverted. And when J is equal to 1, F2 will be equal to invert of F1. When it is invert of N1, so it means now there are two logics. One is AND OR logic, and the other is AND OR invert logic. Okay, so actually it means that now we can implement. So now in this explanation, we can implement two types of logic. So we can implement two types of logic. First, we can implement AND OR logic. For AND OR logic, what will be the value of J? 0. And if we want to implement AND OR invert logic, what will be the value of J? J will be equal to 1. How the AND OR logic will look like? AND OR logic will look like this. The AND OR logic. So there will be an AND. This will be AND. Then there will be an OR gate. So this is AND OR logic. And what about the AND OR invert logic? The AND OR invert logic. Now we have an AND gate, series of AND gate. Then we have NOR gate. Actually, this logic now actually either we can implement this function, this or this one. The first one or the second one. So for the first one, J will be 0. For the second, so actually, how we implement this functionality? This functionality can be implemented with an additional exclusive OR gate, and then there is one control signal, that is J. And how we can control J? J can be controlled through the product term select logic. Actually, if you look at here, now if you look at this whole block, if you see this whole block, this is actually from where it is coming. Product term. And actually at the input of these gates, if you look at the inputs of these gates, so these are some inputs, I0, I1, and so forth, so on, I36. Am I right or not? And actually, similarly, this function is also feedback. If you look at this first slide, the feedback, there is also some feedback. And we call this expanded product term. This expanded product term is from in the same macro cell. Okay, from the same macro cell, and even the signal may come from other macro cells. And how does these signals come The output of one macro cell may go to the same macro cell to which to programmable peripheral interconnect through the switch matrix. And we explained the switch matrix in the previous class. So actually, so let's assume if we want to feedback, so actually if we want to feedback this output back to the input, where will it go? PIA, programmable interconnect up to the switch matrix. Okay, so these are the details that we need to consider. Now if you look at the explanation of this slide, so actually everything is in the notes, you can go. Now let's assume this is a macro cell. If you look at here, this is a macro cell and this is the output of the macro cell, and this output will be feedback the switch matrix and back to the inputs, and that back to the programmable AND array, Okay, now if you look at here, we already studied this thing. Okay, now this is a function f, and this depends on the control signal j. J can either be 0 or 1. If j is 0, which function we are implementing? F. If j is 1, F invert. And this j, if you look at this j is coming from the programmable AND array. So you can like, let's assume if we say that this j signal is controlled from the programmable AND array. This cannot be a single function. It can be any AND of 2 signals or 3 signals, something. Okay. Now if you look at here, when this output, now we have f and f bar. F and f bar. Can you see this f and f bar here? Okay. So now after that we have a flip flop. In the same we studied this flip flop. So actually we can implement either a combination function or a sequential function. And how we can implement a combination or sequential function? Through multiplexer. So actually it all depends on the select line of the multiplexer. If the select line of the multiplexer is 0, it means it will implement a combination function. If the select line of the multiplexer is 1, then it will implement a sequential function. Did we start recording? Okay. So it will implement a sequential function. Okay. Now if we proceed further, now if you look at the flip flop, here, can you see the flip flop here? I will show this slide. If this is not here, I will explain this. Okay. If you look at this flip flop, now I will study this with the flip flop logic, because the NOT gates are being given input to the flip flops. Okay. So if you look at this flip flop, you see this flip flop? Okay. From this flip flop, we have D input. It's which type of flip flop is? It's a D type flip flop. And we studied this flip flop in detail in our Verilog logic. Now this flip flop has PRN. What is PRN? Preset. PRN. It is actually preset. It is active low or active high? Because it is bar. N means negative. Active. It is active low. Okay. Now if you look at clear N, what does clear N stand for? Clear. Okay. Clear. It is active high or active low? Active low. Clear N. There is a bubble here. There is a small bubble here. And actually we are also using PRN. PR means preset and active low. Negative means clear N, active low enable. Actually there are two possibilities. Maybe the designer wants to initialize the flip flop with a logical 0. Then will he use clear N or preset N? Clear N. If you want to initialize the flip flop with a value of 1, he will use preset. Okay, so now there are two possibilities. Actually, this architecture provides you the functionality to initialize the flip flop to either a logical 1 or a logical 0. Now there are two possibilities and there. Now if you look at a clock, can you now there is another, can you see enable ENA? This is ENA. ENA stand for enable. ENA stand for enable. Now if you want to always enable the flip-flop, always enable the flip-flop. When enable is 1, Q will track D. When enable is 1, Q will track D. Now there are two possibilities. Either we will always enable the flip-flop, or this enable depends on some signal. And this signal is actually coming from the product term select. Now if your code is like this, if K and A, Q is equal to smaller or equal to D, actually we are enabling the flip-flop. Now it depends on the signal EN1 and EN2, and it is coming from the product term select line. Okay. Now if you look at the, and there is also not only enable, but there is also a clock. Can you see the clock? Actually there is a multiplexer here. Can you see the, so this is called as clock and enable signal. This is a multiplexer, and you can use the multiplexer there. So I will just explain this with some example. Okay, if you look at here, there are 5 points. One is clear. This is actually clear, and what is this? Clear and D. Actually, D is the input. D is the input. Then there is an enable 4, and now there is a clock. Okay, now number 1. If you look at the number 1, what is number 1? Number 1 is actually your clock. 1 is your clock. Now maybe there is a requirement that either you are using the clock or you are using the clock divided by 2. Maybe if you want to divide the clock, you can also divide the clock by 2. This clock divided by 2, maybe this clock divided by 2 is going to another cell. Okay, so what about the preset? Preset can be global or local. When it is local, it will be coming from the product term select. If it is global, this preset will be shared among all macro cells. Similarly, for clear can be local or global. If it is local, then it will be coming from the end term logic. And when it is global, it will be shared among all macro cells. Flip-flop can either be enabled or disabled. When it is enable is 1, what does it imply? It will always be enabled. When enabled is equal to, let's assume when enable is equal to K and J, what does it imply? Enable is depending on the signal K and J, and this K and J, from where K and J will come? From the product and term select. Okay? From the product and term select. Okay, so now I'll explain all this stuff with some example. So now we will give a small, we will have a small Verilog example, a small example of a Verilog, and then we'll implement that function here. Okay, we will implement a function, a small Verilog example, and then we will implement this function here. Open with Microsoft Edge. Okay, now let's assume I'm writing some Verilog code here. Maybe here. Okay. Let's assume we have this code. Always add pause edge of clock or pause edge of clock, begin and now we say Okay, A and is not equal to J. This is I'm defining any two arbitrary signal. This is a very arbitrary code, but we will implement this code on our macro cell logic. Okay. And J M is equal to 1. Which signal we are using now here? यहाँ पे हम क्या यूज कर रहे हैं? M smaller or equal to 1. Preset. Okay. Preset. Else if n, okay, else if n, m is smaller or equal to 0. Okay, what are we using here? Preset or reset? Reset. We are using both the combination of preset and reset. Which one has got the highest priority? Preset has got the highest priority. Okay, we are also using the preset and the reset. Okay, in both cases. Okay. Oh. Okay, now let's see that we are only using the only using clear and we are not using the actually. Let's assume that we are only using a reset. We are using a reset. Okay. Else if en1 and en2 when enable is equal to 1, so m is smaller or equal to now actually if you look at here, so A and V and C bar or A and D. Let's assume we want to implement this function. This is a very simple function. It's a combination function or a sequential function. It's a combination function or a sequential function? Sequential function. Why is a sequential function? Because we are using a clock. Okay. Now I'm copying this code and now I'm pasting it here. Now we will implement this function. I think I cannot paste it, but I cannot paste it. Okay, now if you look at here, we are using preset or reset? Preset. Okay, so what we are using for, so it will depend on the signal K and J. It depends on the signal K and J. So, okay, now we will go here and there will be here, we will have some K here and J here and J here, and we will use this product term from K and J. It will go to the preset to here. Right or not? Yeah. No. For K and J, we also have invert logic, and we will enable the, we have two inverters. If you look at the inverter, either we can implement K, okay, bar, J or J bar. आप समझ आई बेटा? Okay, if you want to use this term, so we have to program the AND gate accordingly. And how many AND gates we have used? One. We have used this one AND gate, and we are using this product term select, and we will use it here and here. Definitely, which switches will be retained and which switches will be blown. It depends on the logic. But I'm not going into much detail in there. From here, K will be here, J will be here, and it will go from here to the product term select logic to the preset. Okay, now in this code, if you look at this code, are we implementing the, sorry, it is m is equal to 0. So make it m is equal to 1. As we are using a preset. We are using a preset, so actually, if we are using reset, what we will do? It will coming from the in the clear logic. Okay, so now let's assume we are using a preset. So actually we are using K and J, and we'll go to the preset. Okay. Now in the second case, are we clearing the flip flop? Are we initializing flip flop to 0 at any time instant? No. So what should be the value of clear n? 1, because clear n will be disabled. Clear n will be disabled. So what we do, there will be some logic. We are not going to. So actually we will make this clear n to be 1. Why 1? Because it is active low or active high? Active low, so we will make it 1, so it will be disabled. Clearings for this particular code will be 1. Now, if you look at here, if you look at the enable 1 and enable 2, enable 1 and enable 2. So actually now we have some enable logic. Here this enable logic. This enable logic, I'm highlighting this in blue. It will be coming from the product term 1. So here will be enable 1 and enable 2. Enable 1 and enable 2, we will use one end term and it will go to the enable A. Okay. Now if you look at the other code, A and B and A and D. How many inputs are used? 4 inputs, A, B, C and D. So actually if you look at here, actually we have 36 inputs, not 4 inputs. We have 36 inputs. We have, actually here we will have A, B, C and D. And the appropriate inverter, or the invert without inverter or with invert logic. So some switch will be retained and some switch will be blown. Okay, so for A and B, so there will be A and A bar, B and B bar. Actually, this function. Okay, how many terms are used? 2. 2 end terms are used. So actually, how we will implement it? So actually, one end will be used, and the second end will be used, and then it will be R. It will go to the product term from this product term, and it will go to, actually, if you look at here, I'm highlighting this in okay, this purple, so it will go here. It will go to D signal. We go to D signal. Okay, so in the select line of the we will store a logical 1 or a logical 0. Logical 1. Why logical 1? Because the function is sequential or it's a sequential function. Okay, so maybe in the exam when I will ask any question, I will give you a code. I will give you this max architecture, and you will map that code to that particular architecture. That particular code to that particular architecture. Okay, now this is one example. Now let's assume if the function is combinational. If the function is combinational, so actually you don't need this preset logic, you don't need this clear logic, because the flip-flop will be bypassed. When the flip-flop is bypassed, so every signal will be ignored. You can directly implement the function from the product and select, and it's very simple. It's very. Now let's assume if we have okay. So now copy and paste. Okay, all these slides will are available on the Google Drive link. Okay, you can rotate. Now let's assume we want to implement another function. We want to implement a very simple function, and that's a combination function. Now let's assume we have this function. Assign A is equal to A and B or C and D or E and F. Let's assume these are very simple function. This is a very simple function. If you look at this function, how many min terms we have? How many min terms we have? So we have 3 min terms. Okay. Please We have three minterms: minterm 1, minterm 2, and minterm 3. If you look at here, this is minterm 1, minterm 2, and minterm 3. The function that is implemented is a combination or sequential function. Combination function. So if you look at this slide 1-4, actually the first minterm, actually how will it look like? So you will have 4 AND gates. How many AND gates? 3 AND gates. 3 AND gates will be used. This will be then OR gate. And now if you look at it for the first AND gate, you have A and B, and A and B will be selected. Am I right or not? The second AND gate, what will be selected? C and D will be selected. And for the last AND gate, E and F will be connected. And this output will go here. Will we use or bypassed? Bypassed. Flip-flop will be bypassed, and it will go to the output logic. And what will be the output under output? What will your output? What will be your output? J. J. Because if you look at here, if you look at the code is assigned A and B and C and D and E and F, and it is assigned to J. In this way, we can implement a combination function. Okay, now we will now explain a more complex example. With how we can implement a more complex function with this macro cell, and how many we can use. We will use multiple macro cell. I will explain this with an example. Okay, so now let's assume so how we can implement a counter? How we can implement a counter with macro Xilinx Max architecture. With Xilinx Max architecture. So we are using a Xilinx Max architecture, and we want to implement an 8-bit counter. So actually, if you look at here, this is a schematic of a counter. I told you that let's assume if you remember, we studied 2-bit counter previously, and in the previous study that if you want to have, if you have any counter, so the LSB will be switching on every clock cycle. Let's assume the LSB is 0. In the next cycle, the LSB will be 1, and in the next cycle, LSB will be 0. How we can implement this functionality? Using a NOT gate in a feedback, but actually we do not have a NOT gate in like in the Max architecture. So we can use the exclusive OR function. So if you look at here, actually, if we have a VDD of 1, now this is Q0. What will be this output? No, this output. What will be this output? This signal. No, not Q0. Q0 R. Actually, I told you that when we were implementing the function J, in the J there was a control signal, and we said, okay, if we want to implement a non-inverted function, not inverting function, what will be the value of J? 0. If we want to implement a inverted function, what will be the value of J? 1. So now this function is an inverted function or non-inverted function? Inverted function, because this is an inverted function. Since this is an inverted function, so the control signal to the exclusive OR gate will be 1 or 0? 1. Am I right? This Q0 is solved. This Q0 is solved. And now actually, if you look at here, if you look at any counter, so now let's assume, forget about the other counter. If you look at this Q1, can you see Q1 here? When Q1 will switch, actually it is the exclusive OR of Q1 and Q0. We studied this in previous example. Now let's assume we have a 2-bit counter. 0 0 0 1 1 0 and 1 1. This is your Q0. This is your Q1. If you look at here, the next value of Q1 will be the exclusive OR of Q1 and Q0. If you look at here, 0 0, the output will be 0. And if we have the exclusive OR of 0 1, 0 1, if you have exclusive OR of 0 1, what will be the output? 0. What about exclusive of 1 0? 1. And if you exclusive OR get 1 1, 0. Again it will be again 0 0. And this cycle will repeat on. If this implementation of this Q1 is correct or not? Correct. Okay. So now, if you go to Q2, Q2 will switch its value. Now think of a 3-bit counter. Think of a 3-bit counter. So what will be the pattern of 3-bit counter? 0 0 0 0 0 1 0 1 0 0 1 1 1 0 0 1 0 1 1 1 0 1 1 1 and 0 0 0. Actually, so when Q2 will switch its value when Q1 and Q0 is 1 1. So actually we are using an AND gate here. Okay, when both of them are 1, it will switch from 0 to 1. That's the reason that we are using this AND gate. And the same logic, and if you go further on, so these are all logic. So actually, if you look at this, what about Q7? Q7. So let's assume if we have 8-bit counter, so actually we have when it is 0 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. When it will switch here? When all of them are 1, in the next cycle it will be 1 0 0 0 0. Actually, this is the gate level description. It's a gate level description of an 8-bit counter. Starting from Q0 to Q7. Now, if we want to implement this counter, on the Xilinx Max architecture. Now we want to implement this on the Xilinx Max architecture. How many flip-flops do we need? Flip-flops. 8 flip-flops. If you look at here, flip-flop 1, flip-flop 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're using 8 flip-flops. So it means how many macro cells do we need? 8 macro cells. Now, not only we need this flip-flop, but we also need some combinational circuit. Actually, if you look at the combinational circuit on the left-hand side, so there is an exclusive OR gate. Can you see the exclusive OR gate? And we also have this AND gate. And actually, how can we implement? Let's assume if we only concentrate on this AND gate, only just on, because it's the most complex function. If you look at this AND gate, from where it will be coming? From the product term select. If you look at here, this is your product term select. It is coming from the product term select, and actually the product term select can implement any product of maximum how many inputs? 36 inputs. How many inputs are we using here? An 8-bit counter, we are using 8. Okay. Now how we will implement this in the Max architecture? Now if you look at here in the Max architecture, this is the product term select. Now this is Q0. In the product term select, From Q0, we will use VDD. Why we will use VDD? Because here, and from that VDD will be coming from the product sum select. Now we have an OR term, and now we can implement this. So actually, this is Q0, and actually the function that will be implemented will be Q0 bar at this point instead. And if you look at Q7, what will be the value of product term select? If you look at here, this function is Q0, Q1 up to Q0, Q1 up to Q6. Actually, Q0 will be here, Q1, Q2 up to Q0 to Q6, and that switches will be retained. Actually, the function that will be implemented here will be like this. It will look like this. This AND gate will be implemented Q0, Q1 up to Q6. That function will go directly here and to feedback. Now, if you look at here, actually, if you look at here, this Q6. If you look at this Q6, from here this Q6 is coming. Actually, this is Q6 is coming from here, feedback, and this will be go to the switch matrix, and from the switch matrix back to what? Back to the input. If you look at the macro cell architecture here, in the macro cell architecture, so let's assume we are to say that the Q6 will be coming from this here IO block, and then we will use PIA, that is the switch matrix, and then it will be feedback to the inputs. Now we have studied that how we can implement a sequential function efficiently with the max architecture, and the example of that sequential function was an 8-bit counter. And in this way, we have studied that we can use multiple macro cells. We can use multiple macro cells to implement wider sequential circuits. How to use this? Actually, when you are a designer, you will write any very log code. You will give this very log code at the design input to the synthesizer, and all of these will be done by the synthesizer. And the synthesizer will let you know that how many macro cells have been used, whether your design will fit into this device or not. Whether your design will fit into this, when your design will fit into this device or not. Okay, so it all depends on that how many macro cell architecture, how many number of macro cells can be used. Any question? Okay. Implementation. Okay, I will explain this. You are implementing a target. Okay, target. Okay. In a target, we had this Q0, and then actually Q1. Actually, you want to know about this logic, Q0 and Q1. And actually, this one is Q1 new or Q1 old? New. This one is Q1 old. Now we have Q1 and Q0. The first value is 0, 0, then 0, 1, 1, 0, and 1, 1. If this is old, then this will be new. When this will become old, this will become new. Actually, can we say if we exclusive or if we, because we want to implement this Q1 new, exclusive of 0 0 is 0. Exclusive of 0 1 is 1. Exclusive of 1 0 is 1, and exclusive of 1 1 is 0. Same pattern is repeated or not? Okay. Now, if you look at the Q naught, we were using inverter. So this one is old and new. So when we invert 0, what will be the value? 1. And when we invert 1, 0. अब समझिए बेटा. Similar, the same is true when we are implementing a when we implement the 3-bit. When we implement a 3-bit, so actually what were the pattern? 0 0 0 0 0 1 0 1 0 0 1 1 1 0 0, and we were using that both of them are 1 in what is value. Okay, got my point or not? Then 1 0 1 1 1 0 and 1 1 1, when both of them are 1, then invert its value. The same is true for all the others. Okay, with a similar logic. जी बेटा. Okay, now, okay, OR get. The product terms that we are using, actually, अब हम यहाँ पे जो implement कर रहे हैं, we are only using one AND gate, so other AND gate will be disabled. So now let's assume आप यही कह रहे हैं ना. अच्छा मैं आपको समझा देता हूँ जो आपकी confusion में समझ गया हूँ. There are multiple AND gates, and actually we are using 2 3 4 5 6 7. Am I right? We are using this. Actually, this was 0 to what? 6, and then there was an OR gate. These OR gates, these are also AND gates. Are these AND gates used? These AND gates are not used. We want to implement this function fk. Let's assume we want to implement this function fk. Inputs here will be 0 0 0. What will be your output? Agreed? Okay. Any question? Any question? Okay. So now we'll study another architecture, Xilinx architecture. This was the Xilinx Max architecture. Now we will study Xilinx FPGA architecture. Xilinx FPGA architecture, and this architecture, if you look at this architecture, FPGA architecture, we have some chips. We have chips. So what is this? This black box, this red box. This is our chip. How this chip will look like? Actually, this chip has some pins. Can you see the pins here on the borders? These are the chip. Pins. And near to these chip pins, there are IO blocks. What does IO stand for? Input output block. So near to these chip pins are the IO blocks, and these IO blocks are called as the input output blocks. These are the near to the chip pins. And if you look at this block, we have another block. We call it CLBs, configurable logic blocks. Configurable logic blocks. So we have two types of blocks: IO blocks and configurable logic blocks. So the configurable logic block can be used to implement any combination or sequential function, similar to the Max architecture. वहाँ पे जो building block था, what was the main building block of the Max architecture? The building block of the Max architecture was actually macro cell. What is the building block of the Xilinx FPGA architecture? Configurable logic block. Okay, now वहाँ पे जो And then we have another type of stuff, we call it programmable interconnect. Programmable interconnect. And in the Xilinx Mammoth architecture, it was programmable switch matrix. So these are just different names. And their implementations are different. Their internal details are different. So if you look from the top level, we have three types of major blocks. One is the IO blocks. The IO blocks are placed adjacent to the input pins, chip pins, input pins or the output pins. Now we have programmable interconnect. Programmable interconnect is used to route, to connect different configurable logic blocks, or to connect one logic block to another logic block, or to connect an IO block to the logic block. And then we have the configurable logic block. The configurable logic block can be used to implement any combinational or sequential function, just like similar to the MAX architecture. But actually the implementation of this configurable logic block is different from the implementation of the macro cell. Just the implementation. So what is the underlying architecture of the configurable logic block? What is the underlying architecture of the IO block? What is the underlying architecture of the programmable interconnect? We will study this in more and more detail now. Now we will start with the configurable logic block. We will start with the configurable logic block. Now this is a configurable logic block, CLB. This is one of the CLB block. What does CLB stand for? Configurable logic block. About the IO block, we will study this in later on. Okay. If you look at the configurable logic block, how many flip-flops are there? 2 flip-flops. If you recall your macro cell architecture, how many flip-flops were there? 1 flip-flop. Here there are 2 flip-flops. So it means that we can implement any function. Okay, now if you look at the input to this, if you look at this CLB as a black box, so if we are considering this as a black box, now this is a black box. What are the inputs? This CLB. What are the inputs? F1, F2, F3, F4, G1, G2, G3, G4, C1, C2, C3, and C4. So these are the inputs. What are the outputs? YQ, Y, XQ, X. YQ means sequential. Y means combinational. Okay, you got it? Just these are the just naming convention. Now, if you look from the black box perspective, what are the internal details? We will study this later on. But if you look at the black box, the inputs is F1 to F4, G1 to G4, C1 to C4, YQ, Y, XQ, and X. Now we'll study one by one in detail. So now we have a G function generator. What is a G function generator? G function generator. Then we have F function generator. Now we have an H function generator. All of these function generator can be implemented with a structure that is called as lookup table. Now, how does a lookup table look like? I will explain this. How does a lookup table look like? Now, lookup table. Now let's assume this consists of a lookup table. We call it LUT. LUT stands for lookup table. Okay, any lookup table has some inputs and some outputs. So then let's assume we are using a very small lookup table of 2 inputs and 1 output. Now, if you look at here, if you look at this slide, if you look at this lookup table, where is this slide? Okay, if you look at this lookup table is of G function. How many inputs? 4 inputs. F function generator, lookup table of 4 inputs. H function generator is of No, not 2. 3 inputs. 3 inputs. Now we will study a lookup table of just 2 inputs, just for the sake of explanation. For the sake of explanation, we will be study a lookup. We will be like explaining a lookup table with 2 inputs. Let's assume the input is A, B, and the output is C. This lookup table has first for n storage location, which n is inputs, number of inputs. One is n here. What is n here? N is 2. Any storage location will be there. 4. So we will have store storage location in a lookup table. Every storage location has some address 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, and 1, 1. And we can store any value in the lookup table depending on the requirement of the user. Let's assume if you want to implement an AND gate, what we will store? If you want to implement an AND gate, 0, 0, 0, 1. Which gate will be implemented? AND gate. Now let's assume if you want to implement an OR gate. Zero, 1, 1, 1. Which function will be implemented? OR gate. So a lookup table with inputs. A lookup table with n inputs can implement any combinational function of inputs. Okay, so we will study this lookup table in more and more detail